guys, I just had to come here to film this. Rolled out of bed, left a facial a few hours ago. This is it. I didn't even put my damn microphone in because I don't have the right connector for it, and I just need to get this channel message out while it's top of mind. I just had an experience that was super pivotal in my dating life and in my personal life, and hopefully no one I'm talking about sees this, or at least not for a while, but I just had a realization, and this is for anybody who has someone in your life that you really love, that you really want it to work out with, and you show up in a specific way for them because you don't want to lose them. I have a couple people in my life that I have had brutally straightforward conversations with, not mean at all, but when I'm upset, I go to them and I voice it. When things occur in the friendship or the relationship, I go to them and I say, hey, this has just happened to me and that's not gonna work for me. Or, hey, I'm upset with you and I'm thinking of leaving, blah, blah, blah. So I have had this situation where I need to set motherfrickin' boundaries so bad with a few people in my life. But these people particularly are very close to me and I love being close to them and I love loving them. And to the point where the version of me that is like, let's call her Queen of Swords, or let's call it not ruthless, because I'm never ruthless, but the part of me that's like, don't talk to me like that. Or, hey, when you let me down like that, it doesn't make me want to know you. Or that thing that you did or that thing that you said is not appropriate. I can't have people in my life that act that way. So with everyone else in my life, I have these very strong boundaries, but super healthy relationships, okay? So like I've had a couple hard conversations with my best friend in years. I've had a couple hard conversations with my business partner in years of 2 successful brands. And I've had a very small handful of conversations with one of these particular people I've dated. Do you know why you can have hard conversations with people and also have healthy relationships with them? Because that is proper communication. The reason why you keep dating that one person and it keeps being toxic, or you have that one friendship that keeps being toxic, is because that person's not emotionally evolved enough or does not have a high enough emotional intelligence for you to comfortably go to them and say, this is what's going on for me, this is my experience, this is how I feel about it, let's get a solution, let's get to the bottom of it, let's overcome it. That doesn't exist with people that aren't emotionally healthy and emotionally mature. So in this situation, the thing that just happened to me is I communicated with someone who I used to date, and I was like, oh my God, he's so good at communication. Like, he's just a phenomenal communicator. And it made me realize I have said things in text message and on the phone line to this man that are wild. Like, I was not communicating in a way to preserve the relationship. I was communicating in a way of, you did this and it really made me upset, and I'm not going to exist in a realm where X, Y, or Z is being done by my partner, and I'm not going to date someone like that. Like, I didn't go into it being like, hey, so, on Tuesday when you did that one thing, I really didn't like that too much. And, like, it hurt my feelings. Like, maybe you could not do that. But, like, I totally understand why you did that. It was like, no, that's not proper communication. So you communicate with people in 2 ways. One, you make it about yourself. You make it about your needs, what I need, my boundaries, my reality, what I need. And you have to communicate in a way like you're not scared to lose them. And that doesn't mean be cruel. Never be cruel. Always be kind. But you just have to say, hey, this is what my boundary is. If this is the way that I'm treated, I'm no longer going to be here. That's not communicating in a preserve the relationship type way. That's preserving the relationship to yourself type way. So they always say the women who get everything that they want, and maybe this applies to men, but especially women, the women in the world who get everything they want from the men they date or from their partners or from any of their relationships are the people that are communicating in a way of, I bring so much value, love, care, kindness. Oh my God, to love me, to be my partner, to be my best friend, to be my business partner is to get the world, because that's the way I love people. So that has been really hard for me to recognize, like, oh my God, I am bleeding out for these people. I'm only going to be loved in return by people that are bleeding out. You stop giving to the level that I give, you're out. And that, of course, we go through ups and downs. Like if you have a death in the family, if you get fired from your job, if you go through a bad breakup, take some time, be a mess, do your healing. I'll be here when you're done. But I'm talking about consistent patterns of people who consistently do not treat you as well as you treat them. Bye. So the experience I just had tonight was I sat and I thought, who are the people over the last 5 years that I've had the hardest conversations with? And I don't mean, oh, we're breaking up, like a hard conversation, crying. I mean like very honest communication. And I can think of 2 people, and in both of those scenarios, I was communicating to exit the relationship because my boundaries had been crossed to such a severe level that I was genuinely done. And that person's kindness, receptivity, and overall desire not to lose me in their life, their immediate response was, absolutely, I totally hear you. Let's talk about that. I'm sorry you're mad at me. How did we get here? Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's find a solution. Can you express that more to me? I have never in my life healed as much as I've healed with these people, where I can just go and completely share my experience. And so I'm wandering through my kitchen tonight, and I had 2 conversations today. One with someone that, actually both with people I've dated, one who is healthy, one who is trying to be healthy, and we're not really sure. And I was like, the reason I'm so scared and get anxiety to talk to this one partner that I was with for a long time is because I don't have the certainty that that person won't leave. Like with everyone else that I'm having these conversations with, I know that they love me because of the way they treat me. So when I go to them and say, hey, you did this, and that doesn't work for me, I know on some level they're not going to leave because it's a healthy, connected partnership. And therefore I can fully and clearly communicate. When you're with someone who has a tendency to leave, when you're with someone who does not know how to have staying power when things get hard, when you are with someone who has never been in a life where they weren't emotionally or actually abandoned as a child by their caregivers, that person's always going to try to leave. They're always going to try to leave. And I know that because I'm the runner. I am the leaver. When things get hard, I was left as a kid. I was abandoned emotionally and actually my entire life. And I just shared with you that I go to these people that are healthy. They have very high EQs. And I say, I can't do this. I got to go, right? That's my energy. I'm not actually doing that. And they say, no, hey, we're good. I love you. I'm sorry. I know you're wounded. And they recognize my wounds. They know how I was hurt as a kid, and they can completely bring me back. And I know in that moment that I'm so triggered and I'm so not my highest self, and I'm being held and loved by people who have light flowing through their veins, and they can see my light in that moment, and they can see my wound in that moment, and they hold it. And these other people, they don't see my light. They don't see my wound. So when I'm going there, I'm like, I'm so triggered and I feel so abandoned by this person and I feel mistreated, but I don't know if I should. And I'm probably overreacting because they just did this minor little thing. And I'm like, hey, like when you do this, like, I don't like that. And, could you not? And I get broken up with, or I get left because it's like whiny and it's naggy. It's not empowered because that person doesn't love me in a way that empowers me. And that is the message of today. You will notice, why are relationships healthy when people aren't going to leave you? When you have people in your life that have a high emotional intelligence and are non-confrontational and are genuinely making a concerted effort not to lose you, it's because you have freedom of speech. You can say anything to that person because you know that they're going to stick it through with you, which allows the communication to be purgatory. It is cathartic. I'm actually able to express to you what I need to say. I don't have to sugarcoat it. I don't have to worry about you blocking me. I don't have to worry about you leaving. I don't have to worry about you moving out or breaking up with me. And that is why healthy relationships will always have a good balance of hard conversations and with a bunch of good conversations. But when you do have the hard conversations, they're very real and very raw. And you will notice yourself having conversations and saying things to people when you feel safe and you feel supported and you know that someone loves you. Pay attention to the people in your life that you feel comfortable saying exactly how you feel to. Your mom, maybe it's your best friend, if you're lucky enough to have a best friend that you have that real raw transparency with. What about your sister? Your brother? Have you guys ever gotten in a fight with your sister? Oh my God. You're not going to move out. Like, we're still going to be cool by tomorrow, but like right now, I hate you a bit. So I'm gonna need you to go over there and not Brie. Like, I have 2 sisters. Oh my gosh, the sister fights are insane. Insane. And then 10 hours later, you're like, do you wanna go get dinner? You wanna go to the mall? That's what I'm talking about. And not that we want to encourage fighting for the sake of fighting, but you can walk in and be like, why'd you talk to me like that, Vicky? Like, both people are coming at it from their true core feelings, right? Like, I don't like how you talked to me in front of all of our friends today at the mall. Why did you do that? You're being a bitch. And then she was like, because you literally left me by myself for an hour, right? Sister fighting, pure fighting. You're going at it from the way you really truly feel on a core level. So I just had this big realization that, like, dating people that don't have emotional maturity and dating people that don't have a high EQ and a high level of empathy is so fucking dangerous, because what hurts more than going to someone with your trauma and ways that they've hurt you and asking for healing and asking to be supported is going to someone with that trauma and having them be like, I'm busy. I don't understand. Or why do you feel that way? Or why is it always drama? It's not drama. It's how I feel. Okay. So this was a big moment for me tonight. I'm like, oh my God, my healthiest relationships are the ones in which I have said the craziest sentences to. Sentences that I look back on and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I sent that message. I would never send that to the person who has the low EQ or the person who's wobbly. I would never send that, because I would get literally left or ignored. So I'm going to leave you with this. It is important to recognize that when they say relationships take communication, that's what they mean by it. It's verbalizing, hey, I know it's a random Tuesday and you probably don't even know I'm mad, but I'm really upset about something and we need to talk about it. And then it's knowing that the other person is going to either go, I think you're kind of off base with that, but I hear you, like, let's talk about it. Or saying, oh my goodness, I had no idea that harmed you. I'm so sorry that happened. Let's talk about it. These are things that I have learned, and I am only very recently on my journey of healing and attracting and having healthy relationships. But man, when I realized that today, and at the same time, you know who respects you? Someone who knows you'll leave. That's who respects you. If you think that person is never going to leave, people get taken advantage of for that, right? So I hope this helps someone. Please know that part of setting healthy boundaries is also setting healthy boundaries in environments where the other person's also healthy. Because if you try to set healthy boundaries with people that aren't healthy, don't have their own boundaries, don't know how to deal with boundaries, don't have a high emotional intelligence, don't have a high EQ, dangerous. Because they can't handle their own emotions. Why on earth would they be able to hold yours? They can't. It's too much, too overwhelming. They have to get out. They have to leave. You're volatile. And you know what? Relationships deepen when you have conversations like that. So 2025, emotionally healthy people. I hope that this helped you. There's someone in your life that you are scared to tell how you feel. That is a huge red flag that they might be unhealthy. Because if you're scared to tell someone how you feel and set a boundary about the way that they're behaving and how that affects you and why you don't like it and why they need to knock it off, you're probably interacting with somebody who's unhealthy, unfortunately. Okay, I'm going to bed. Good night. Goodbye.